You step outside and the ground feels uneven under your boots. The grass grabs at your ankles. Dry stems snap with a sharp, brittle sound. This space looks quiet, yet it is working against you every day. A neglected backyard drains time, money, health, and security long before you notice the damage. History shows that outdoor spaces always carried a cost when ignored. In rural households, the yard was not decoration, it was infrastructure. Paths stayed clear for movement at night. Soil stayed turned to prevent pests. Waste stayed controlled to avoid sickness. When these rules slipped, consequences followed fast and hard. The first cost shows up underfoot. Compacted soil forms when ground stays untouched. Water stops draining. Pools form. Mud hardens into ridges. In past settlements, this caused ankle injuries and slowed movement during emergencies. Overgrown vegetation changes the air. Tall grass traps moisture. Rot sets in at ground level. The smell turns sour and heavy. Snakes, rodents, and insects use that cover as shelter. In early homesteads, grass stayed cut not for looks, but to deny hiding places near the house. Fire risk rises quietly. Dry brush stacked against fences acts as a fuse. One spark from cooking or a neighbor's burn spreads fast. Historical town fires often started in backyards filled with waste wood. Structures pay a price. Moisture creeps toward foundations. Termites find hidden paths. Wooden posts soften at ground contact. In early construction, yards stayed clear to keep airflow around buildings. A clean yard extended the life of a house more than any repair. Tools suffer next. Rust forms where damp air lingers, handles warp, metal loses its edge. In survival-focused households, tools stayed stored off-ground and yards stayed dry. A neglected yard shortens tool life and forces replacement costs that compound over time. Security weakens. Visual clutter creates blind spots. Tall growth blocks lines of sight. In the past, clear yards allowed families to see movement at night. Footsteps on gravel warned of approach. Overgrowth absorbs sound and hides entry points. Silence becomes a liability. Daily movement slows. Paths disappear. You step around obstacles. Each trip takes longer. Fatigue builds. In agricultural households, efficiency mattered. Clean yards reduced wasted motion. Over a season, small delays added up to lost daylight and missed work. Children and animals face hidden danger. Broken glass, rusted wire, and sharp scrap vanish under weeds. Cuts lead to infection. In earlier eras, minor injuries turned serious without treatment. Clean yards reduced risk when medicine stayed limited. Water systems fail quietly. Gutters overflow into blocked ground, and runoff pushes toward walls. Historically, rainwater got directed away through open channels kept clear by routine yard work. But, neglect turns rain into erosion and structural stress. Food production drops, garden beds choke, and soil nutrients leach away. Weeds compete aggressively. In subsistence households, yards produced herbs, roots, and greens. But neglect forced dependence on stored food and trade, which increased vulnerability during shortages. Noise changes. Wind moving through tall weeds creates a constant dry rattle. Insects click and buzz. The yard never rests. Clean ground carries quiet. Sound control mattered in times when listening warned of animals, weather, and people approaching. Mental strain follows physical disorder. Visual chaos signals unfinished work. In journals from isolated settlers, tidy yards appear during stable periods. Neglected yards appear alongside stress, illness, or loss. Order outside supported clarity inside. Cleaning starts with ground contact. You want to cut growth low and remove dead matter. Expose the soil to air and sun, and you'll notice the smell changes immediately. Earth replaces rot. Next comes drainage. Open channels and add gravel where water pools. Listen as water moves instead of stagnates. Historical yards relied on gravity and clear paths, not pipes. Simple shaping prevented complex problems. Edges matter. Define paths and keep them firm. Stone, dirt, or packed sand works just fine. Footsteps sound crisp again, and movement becomes predictable. This restores speed and awareness. Storage belongs off the ground. Wood stacks raised, tools hung, food waste sealed. This denies pests access. In survival terms, elevation equals protection. Maintenance becomes routine, not reaction. Short sessions beat long repairs every time. In earlier households, daily yard attention replaced emergency fixes. Consistency preserved strength and resources. A clean backyard does more than look orderly. It restores control, protects health, and extends materials. It sharpens awareness. This space either drains you or supports you, and the choice shows in every step you take outside. Start by clearing one section today. Feel the ground change under your boots. Hear the yard grow quiet again. Subscribe to Life and Legacy for more practical history grounded in survival. And hey, share this with someone who needs to reclaim their space.